Okay, so welcome to your independent lab instructions. You'll need your science notebook to write down the following slides, and once you've completed, you can go on to the lab. To start off with, the main focus of you working at the lab stations independently is based on your character. Again, those are broken into three things: accountable, resilient, and thoughtful. Under accountable, behave appropriately, follow the rules. Under resilient, work hard, do your best, and be willing to compromise. Under thoughtful, take care of school property, be open-minded, and listen to others. Before you go on to the next slide, please make sure you have this copied down into your science notebook. When we're talking about accountability, this is pretty much saying to yourself, 1, I will treat lab equipment with respect, not to damage it or misuse it from its original purpose. A thermometer is used to take temperature, it's not used as a drumstick. I will read lab instructions and only perform techniques that are outlined in those instructions. Again, this is for your safety and the safety of your colleagues around you. If the lab instructions say to wear goggles, you must be wearing goggles. I will make sure the lab is cleaned up and ready to be used for the next class. This is very important when it comes down to doing multiple labs over several periods. Please make sure there's no papers underneath the desk or on top of the desk. Please make sure that all lab equipment is returned to its original position as it was when you found it. If something does break, please make sure you tell the teacher and we will take care of it. Resilient. Again, this is for yourself. You will actively engage in labs. You shouldn't be sitting back just letting someone else run through the lab. There may be limited amount of equipment. That means that you are going to have to share with it, but please make sure that you are part of it. You will collaborate with the lab members. Again, that's just you taking part of it. If you have something that you want to talk about or add to the discussion, please do. Think critically and make connections to the purpose of the lab. We do labs to reinforce what's being learned in the class. You should be asking yourself, what connections can I make? How does this work where it does? And what can I take away from this lab? Be thoughtful. Recognize that people have different needs. You may have different needs as your partner. You are going to be working with different people. You need to understand that when you do work as a team, some have strengths, some have weaknesses. You need to use that to help you get through the lab. Think before you act. Is the timer set? Do you have all your materials? Is your notebook ready to collect the data? Remain on task and be a contributor to the lab members. You shouldn't be talking with other lab partners until the experiment is over. Then you can collaborate and talk about your findings. The big key here is to make connections. How does this lab connect to my current classroom learning, and how can this be related to the real world? Think outside of what's happening just here and think about the bigger picture. A lot of this stuff will have smaller connections that lead to bigger ones, but it's best for you to start thinking about how are those connections made. Challenge. Think to yourself. Be a critical thinker. Be a problem solver. And be the definition of the HJ way. Again, ultimately doing the right thing. Once you have all these notes collected into your science notebooks, review these often as you do or start to perform a lab, and make sure you're following the expectations of the classroom and the expectations of the teachers. Good luck with your future labs.